Right, what is up, traders? So you should be able to see Tom, who we've got on stream here. But obviously, this week we're going to be going over our weekly review as usual. My weekly review. For those that don't know who I am, my name is James Bruce, and I have good old Thomas Jackson, TJ, with me. We're going to review both of our weeks. Let us know in the chat if you've got any questions. Just Tom, give us a WhatsApp there. See if everyone can hear you.
How are we doing? How are we doing? I'm very well. It looks like I wasn't paying attention there. There must be a slight delay on there. I'm good. How are you, mate?
Yeah,
It's
all
good to be
good,
on.
Tommy. All good, Tommy. Yeah, so again, we do these live every single Monday, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. South African Time. If you're rewatching this, just give us a comment in the chat if you enjoy this. Any questions for next week's weekly review? Right, Tommy, let me share my screen with you, and we can actually talk through. Let's go over here. Let's share. There you go. Can you see that? Right, you should be able to see that now, Tommy.
I can see it, mate. I can see it.
So showing this up on screen, this has been my month in percentages so far. So it's been a pretty solid month for me so far, but last week particularly, since this is a weekly review, last week, as you can see, 0.51%, then 0.99, and then down 0.93, 1.26, and then a 0.27% winner. But we'll get into my week as we go. But how did you find last week, Tom? How was everything your side?
Yeah, my week was good last week. I felt like I was in a really, really good place. Similar to you, really. I think I ended up about 2% up on the week with the losing day on Friday. So similar to you overall. So yeah, it was good, mate. I enjoyed price action. I've enjoyed price action in April, to be honest. It's been a pretty good month overall. It looks like it's been very similar for yourself as well, looking at your stats for April.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it. I think something that has been good for me has just been narrowing down and being a little bit more focused and knowing what I want to be trading. I think when I was watching a little bit too much, I think that became a bit more, just distracted, right, Tom? Distracted, heads all over the place. Particularly with I've got the wedding coming up. I think it's been good for me to narrow down right now, given the circumstances.
Yeah, there's only so much brain power that and capacity that we've all got, right? And I think it certainly can get overwhelming the more assets you watch, the more styles you trade, the more things you're looking at, the more stuff you've got in your life. And it's like at the end of the day or towards the end of the week, that decision fatigue can have quite a big impact on your trading.
Agreed, 100%. Okay, so let's get into my week first, and then we can cover your week as well, Tommy. So I want Tom, like this is going to be like a coaching session, kind of, where we challenge each other as accountability partners, what we can do better, what we can, always, because there's always something that we're working on in this game, no matter how much money you make. There's always ways that you can improve, right, Tommy? Okay, cool. So let me see. You got my weekly review up you got it there, right, Tom?
I can see your screen, mate. Yeah,
Perfect.
I can see your screen.
Okay, so my week, as you can see, was quite nice. I got a few accounts linked to this funded challenge accounts as well. But yeah, 2.1% gain with a 76% win rate and a 0.57 risk to reward ratio this week. I did write in my weekly review that I felt that just with everything going on, I did feel that narrowing down my focus has been great, and also looking to expand, right, Tom? So I was trading oil and gold this past week, as you'll see in some of the markups. But I think where I'm really going to be looking to expand, obviously currency is always going to be my baby, but I think I'm going to be looking at the US indices, namely the NASDAQ and the S&P 500, and then the DAX, the German index as well. I've seen, yep.
So just to expand them, why now? Why are you adding them into your thing? You go and talk to people about how you've made the decision to do that. So if people are wondering how they can go about doing that and why they would want to do that.
Sure. So the reason just came about, I was like, I obviously trade well in trending markets. We've seen my best, in the last year, I went through my stats, my best year pairs have been GJ and EJ, right? I've made most of my gains from those two pairs, and we've seen obviously also statistically that they obviously trend more frequently, more high, days to high side than the other pairs, right, Tommy? And And we can see that in the stats also from Edgefill. I've confirmed that as well. So from your data, Edgefill's data and that too. So why do I want to get into indices? Because the indices trend, right? We've seen that as well. The indices are trending assets where it's a stock market, right? So I've seen a lot of the big guys, Crudelli and the big Paxes of this world. What do they trade? They trade ES, which is the futures contract of the S&P 500, as well as the NQ, which is the Nasdaq, right? So I've just wanting to branch out and have more trending assets that I am also looking at besides only the currencies, because I feel sometimes when the currencies are fluctuating and maybe chopping, that we are missing out on opportunities in other markets. And also speaking to some of the guys that I know that trade for in-house prop firms, like Mark, has been on the podcast. They've always been trading indices. Why? Because they found that that's where the action is. So I'm wanting to give it a go.
Nice. I think it's good that I think that's something that you do pretty well, is staying open-minded to different options, right? I think there's areas that we can all do better in, and I think it makes sense to try and lean into assets that complement your style of trading. If you say that you are good in trend, so your EJs, your GJs, your things like that, could you be even better by applying it into markets that trend even more than they do?
Exactly. Yep.
I think once you've got the skill of trading, you can then apply it to different markets and assets, really.
Agreed. Yep. I think so as well, Tommy. We'll bring up some of the markups here, but I did find that obviously I'm fiddling around with small size on them at the moment because I want to get make sure the trade copy is working and everything like that. You got to make sure that those are all set in, and I personally use Traders Connect. Yep.
Are you looking to still trade your day 2, day 3 plays and just using that filter as the same thing? How are you approaching that, given that they move slightly differently? Are you looking to get in after pullbacks?
Yeah, good question, Tommy. So with the indices, I'm obviously still using those day 2s and day 3s with the currencies, but with the indices, no, I'm going to be using the 15-minute 200 EMA as my filter, and then just trade. And if price action is, and also VWAP, I've added VWAP in as well, and then just trading price for what it is. Something that I think is going to be big for me is taking out previous day's high and previous day's low. That's going to be big for me in the indices. Instead of using the day count, second day, third day play, I'm going to because they trend more. I'm not going to be like, oh, well, I'm not going to take NASDAQ to the high side today because it's a 5th day play. But man, we know this asset actually trends. You've got to trade it a little bit differently to a GCAD, right? So no, I'm going to be looking at particularly yesterday's high and yesterday's low being taken out but trading it completely the same using the 15-minute 200 EMA. I just won't be, I can't trade this because this is a 4th day play.
Yeah, you understand.
Yeah. So for those that don't know, my 2nd and 3rd day play, we're looking at the previous. So if I'm trading it as a 2nd day play, we have one previous bullish day or bearish day. He gets his haircut on Friday. Nice, Tommy, cheeky comment. Yeah, I get my haircut on Fridays. James, I see you don't usually trade on Fridays. Is that a personal preference or is it a decision you made based on stats? I do get my haircuts on Thursdays or Fridays. Actually, Tommy, they're quite expensive. No, I think, again, I just think that... I know that there was a massive blow-off moves with the war and that not this previous Friday, but the Friday before. And I just think sometimes the move has already happened by the time we've already got to the desk. But this past Friday, I did have some nice moves late into the session on the indices. But yeah, let me know, Tom. So that makes sense with regards to not looking at the day count with the indices because they do trend more.
Yeah, makes sense.
Do you think that's something that you're using with the statistics, Tom, with that, the different quants, like region 1 or something? Is that something that could help me trading the indices?
Yeah, I always think, that's fine. You know me, right? I'm a massive advocate for data in whichever way that we can find it or chop it up. And I think you can definitely use data to your advantage in the indices. I think the biggest one that we use a lot of is, like you say, the probabilities of closing bearish when we take out the previous day's lows, right? It's very hard to find a long-term edge short in indices, given the directional bias that they have. But that one seems to stand up pretty well. Anything above 65% is pretty good.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think you can always use data in your trading. I'm a huge advocate for it, as we've said.
Yeah, I mean, if you just look at if you look at my screen here, Tommy, yeah, some of the players I did have. So I did have that oil losing trade on stream on Wednesday. Remember, I tried to buy this to the house. But let's just start off by some of these players, and maybe we can go through some of my trades. But I just want to show that a lot of my trades are very, very similar, Tom. You know, I think a lot of the traders, they come in particularly as you know, new traders, and they want to trade, they want to change strategies every single week, and I don't think that is a great place to be from. But let's go through some of my trades there. So this was GG. I start off the week GG on Monday, right, Tommy? Second day play. Yep, can you see?
Talk us through this one then.
Sure. So second day play, meaning we have one previous bearish day on the Friday. I think we had a massive blow off day on the Friday. Here's last week's lows, the zone over here. This is the 5-minute chart that we're looking at. We get our rundown here, early London session. So these times are all South African time. Early London session into London Open, we get our rundown. Break of the Asian range with the body. Pull back to those 21 EMA, and look how we hold the downshift, the 8 and 21 EMA downshift, and we get our play. Now, some guys will say this is not exactly off the 21 EMA, and I'll agree with you. But that's where my discretion comes in. I like the stop loss placement over there, and we end up moving quite nicely. I actually did take some off here at low of day. Should be better on the notes there. And then,
of course you did.
Yeah.
Of course you did.
Of course. But started off with a nice winner. And then I also had this oil longs before having a nice pull on this as well, Tommy. So again, just I'm not going to be trading oil going forward, but just was messing around with it with the last month or so, just looking at it. But that was Monday. So I want to show that, look how a lot of my trades are very, very similar, right? We'll go on to Tuesday now as well. But yeah, any comments on those?
No, my go-to comment is obviously always on the GJ. Like, what do you think? Like, how do I know your discretion obviously helps you pay, but
yep.
How do you then? So let me frame it another way. How do you settle for just taking your profit and then watching this continue to run?
Sure.
How in your mind have you come to terms that not every trade or every profit is for you?
Very good question. And I think if I'm leaving money on the table, it means I'm making money, right, Tom? I think, especially for the viewers here, I think a lot of them would do better if they actually trade for a 1-to-1 risk-reward ratio. Now, yes, I took off before 1R on this at low of day, and some people will say, well, look at James, he's still holding the 21 EMA. And yeah, I'll agree with you, and that's definitely a work on for me. But I have also seen too many times, particularly on a Monday. Remember, guys, this was a Monday trade. So I'm going to be more aggressive in taking profits. What happens if this pulls back and I end up having to close for a loss? I'd rather start off my week, even if it's a smaller gain, with a winning day. So if you go to my winning day, I start off with a 0.51% gain on the Monday, right, Tommy? So
yeah.
So I think, again, just knowing that it's a Monday, we don't know that this is going to run, right? And I would rather take profits, and normally sometimes this gives me a chance to get back in by coming back to these 5-minute or 15-minute 21 EMAs to give me a chance to get back in the trade, particularly because I am trading off the 5-minute chart more recently in the last month or so, and I've been finding this has been my sweet spot, Tommy. So I can always get back in, you know. I think that's my...
Yep.
That's my thought process on that. And also, it was a Monday. It wasn't like it was a Friday, because that's when, or Thursday, when volume's up. As you can see, also the data from Edgeville tells us volume's up on Wednesday, Thursdays, and Fridays compared to Mondays and Tuesdays.
Nice. Let's move into Tuesday then.
Yeah. So Tuesday on EJ to the high side, inside day yesterday. So it was an inside day on the Monday. So Monday traded within Friday's high and low. So Wednesday I can come in, Tuesday I can come in and trade it, right? We're above the 200 EMA, but all the other things have to work. We're above the 200 EMA. We broke previous week's highs during the London Open. I think we had Euro. Remember, we had all that PMI news for the pound, Euro, and everything like that. Pull back, and I'm looking to get back in here on the kind of like a 5-minute A2. So this was my play on EJ on Tuesday, Tommy.
Talk us through the long here then. So we've obviously had a big move up early morning,
yes,
right, in London. but then we've retraced pretty much all of that move.
Yep.
Why was the long? Talk us through how you get a long bias then.
Sure. So my first thing is we're above the 50-minute 200 EMA. This is the 5-minute chart. So the 5-minute 200 EMA is the same as the 50-minute 21. So if we pull up, I don't have the 50-minute for this, but we're above the 200 EMA, right? We still hold the Asian range higher on this pullback. It is a deep pullback, but we still hold the Asian range high and we get back above last week's highs as well. So we've had the breakout and retest, and I'm continuing to look for long positions. The price action has not changed to bearish, and the EMAs are also telling me that to stay long biased as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was that play on EJ. Again, these are my 4 steps, guys. It's either second or third day play. This was with the indices, with the currencies, right? So, away from previous week's high, above or below the 200 EMA, and then does price action agree with that EMA bias? You can't just come in like we were saying ECAD today or GCAD today, Tommy. Even though it's a second day play for shorts, you can't just come and short it. We have to have price action agreeing with the EMA bias as well. But yeah, then I took this oil loss on Wednesday live on stream. So going to Wednesday now, I took this oil loss live on stream, Tommy. And I think Wednesday this past week was a bit of a tougher day. I think maybe I was trying to, make back this oil loss, and that's something that we can speak about. Because if you look at my trades, I had more trades. I had 12 trades on this day. You see that, Tommy?
Okay, so let's focus on this day then, right? So a lot of people think more trades equals more money.
Yes.
This day you took more trades than you've taken all month?
Yep, correct.
And lost the most that you've lost all month. Yeah.
Yeah. Second most, correct. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go through some of these then. Let's get into the juicy bits.
Yep. So
first trade of the day.
First trade, oil. Took a loss here live on stream. I liked it for longs. I think I could have had a better pull on this. I closed down here, but look how we start to make lower highs here, Tom. As soon as I took it, I should have been closing over here. That's not what I wanted in my best trades. How often, you tweeted this one day and it stuck with me. How often do your best trades move 50% against you before going in your favor?
Well, exactly. Like, look at the first few trades that you've taken earlier in that week. Straight away, everything's just working out. Straight away.
Yeah.
This isn't. Right? So as soon as you get that downshift, I think you still don't want to choke it off too early, but I think really it's that first rejection of the 8 and 21 downshift. That's the first time where you think, this is not where.
Yeah.
So there, and then there, the hold of it there, that's where I think there, around there, when you start holding that, that's where you want to start getting a little bit wary of the trade you're in, I think. Yeah,
agreed. 100%. So then that was oil. And then again, this is where I started to see some potential on the indices. But I took these with small size. And I think these trades, I did take 12 trades on this, but I did layer into these positions as well, Tommy. So, for example, if I took one trade on this, I split it over 2 entries. Okay, waited for the first bar to close and then took another entry to build up the risk.
Yeah.
Yep. So I had this loss, this one, the loss on oil, the win on NASDAQ, US 100. And then I did try and trade GU late into the day, which I should have. We saw these longs as soon as they held. They closed on the highs on Wednesday. We should have been longing this because look how early this moves on the Thursday, Tommy.
Yeah. So talking about why did you pull this then?
What do you mean?
You pulled GU here, right?
Yep.
Where and why did you pull it?
So I pulled this on this candle here. Late in the day, I pulled it here, which in hindsight, I should have maybe just held, because you're actually closing on the highs on Wednesday above the EMAs, and we're still holding the bullish market structure. I mean, I sat through all of this drawdown here, and
so why did you? So let's take it back then. Why did you sit through the drawdown on this? Why have you not removed some off and then added it back in?
Yep.
Why? Because this is something a little bit different. You're very, very good at taking risk off should price action go against your initial bias. Why have you held here when we've shifted down for a couple of 3 hours, maybe 2 hours?
About 2-3 hours. Yep, 100%. I think, Tom, I was wanting to make my money back, in all honesty, and I spoke about it in my daily report card.
Good honesty.
Yeah, I was wanting to make my money back from the oil loss over here. So
how did that make you feel?
To be honest, when I was sitting through this drawdown, I knew I should be out the trade, but I was like, well, I've already put down the risk. Instead of actually treating it like a new trade, I didn't cut it. And I should have been cutting it as we shift down here and then looking to get back in, right? I always tell myself it's always easy to get out and I can always look to get back in. So that was just a poor management. And then I close over here once it's making a new high of day where I should have been maybe holding through the night because look what happens. It holds structure and then I miss this move over here the next day, right?
Yeah, because it's telling you that there's buying strength in there, isn't it? When we make that higher low, when we pulled back from the initial entry, and then we close the day at new highs, it's telling us that there's buying pressure there.
Agreed.
It's a nice late rally into the end of the day, and then that continues into the next session and then into London, more importantly.
100%. And I just think this was a C game day, in all honesty. I was trying to make my bucks back from the first initial loss on oil. And maybe I could have pulled oil earlier. That's why, because I didn't actually, and you see how it stems. I didn't take the first initial loss earlier on oil, and then I try and make my bucks back trading GU sitting through this drawdown,
I had a very similar conversation with one of our BSC members this morning. He had a day like this where he ended up over trading, but the root cause was him just going slightly off edge or like just not quite following his plan on the first trade of the day. Yep. And then from there, it just kind of spiraled throughout the rest of the day, and it just led to mistakes compounding.
Yeah, it's very. I've seen a pattern in this, Tom. This has been something that I every single trader will have their C game days. You can't be on your A game all the time. Jared Kenner speaks about this in his book. But I think something that has helped me is when I do have a C game day, I limit it. So let's look at that. I ended down 0.93%. So I'm not spiraling out of control like in the past, So I think that has been quite good for me. Let's see if there's any comments in the chats that we can cover before going on to the rest of the week and then going over your week as well. Tommy, speaking about your trading. But I think, do you guys enjoy this? Tom and I getting on and actually speaking like accountability partners, because I'm here to make more money, right? I'm not making $1 million on a year yet. So we need to always be looking out for ways to improve. For me, my trading is always my number one. Everything else I do is second. But if it brings value to do this, I hope that it does. So let's see some questions here. Yen pairs are going crazy. Jose says that sometimes whether trade management is better than set and forget. What's your take? Good question, Tom's. Let's speak about that when I sent you my data from the first quarter.
Yeah. Okay. So we did an experiment, with James's trades. I got James to send me his last 100 trades.
Do you have that data? Sorry to interrupt, Tom. Do you have that data still? I could pull it up. I think it's in our chat.
It might be in that chat. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see if I can. You see if you can find it, and I'll talk
Perfect.
through it. Right.
Yep.
So James sent me his last 100 trades from his broker, and we just ran a little bit of an experiment on, are there better ways for us to be managing trades? And one of the ways that we looked at was a very simple sort of exit of, let's just close at the end of the day. So we take our entry, we don't do we still use the same stop loss that we did before, and we'll just close at the end of the day, because we've already seen, like on some of James's trades, some of them do run. He's putting himself in some of these trending pairs like EJ, GJ, etc. What if he exited at the end of the day? No trade management, didn't peace out, didn't take anything off, didn't just close at 1R and just closed it at the end of the day. It resulted in James would have actually been worse off by doing this, and his discretion of exiting his trades was far better. I think he'd have lost something like 2R over the course of 100 trades. Whereas, so it might have been 5R then, looking at this, around 5R. Whereas James's equity curve is the one at the top, right? So very smooth. He's got a nice high win rate, negative risk reward, but it looks very nice on here. So it's nice and linear. Okay, and he would have made 12R. So James did make 12R in that period. If he'd have managed it in a different way, it wouldn't have made him as profitable, right? So we can take from that for James, that style of management isn't as good as what he's currently doing.
And just to put into perspective, 12R in the space of 3 months, if you're risking 1% a trade, is essentially 4%.
Yeah. So, but to Neil's point, 'cause I personally prefer the set and forget, right? I build my systems around that model because I prefer it for me personally because I just find it more, I find it calmer. I find it less tiresome. I personally don't, I find it liberating being on the charts and not having to stare at charts all day. But that doesn't mean to say that it's the best, it's the right way, it's just what's right for me. And I would recommend testing, using your trades, going through your old data and saying, would I be better off by setting and forgetting? Or is my discretion actually helping my profits? Go and do the work for yourself. It's not difficult, it just takes a little bit of time. It might take you half an hour, it might take you an hour, but go and find out the answers for yourself using your journaling software would be my recommendation. And you should be doing it regularly as well.
Agreed. After every single month, I'm going to be sending my data off to Tom to have a look at, because I want to be great. I don't want to, I need to level up now. I feel like I've hit a ceiling. I actually sent an email out to one of my, the goats, to ask for some feedback, but I'll let you know once I get all back, and Tom and I have discussed as well. But yeah, let's go on to the Thursday then. I think this is when I took those trades live on stream, right, Tommy? On your stream. So that was GCAD. Took that winner live on Tom's stream. You can go rewatch that on ASFX TV. So Tom and I are actually getting on each other's streams, which has been quite cool lately, and bringing more value in the London session. So go give us a watch on ASFX TV. The link is in the description in the chat above. So that was GCAD, and then gold. I ended up taking a look. Yep.
We've got another. So I just want to cover something. Obviously, you trade GJ and EJ quite a lot, okay? Yes. And we've had the price action today with the intervention potentially from the Bank of Japan.
Sure.
How does that affect your trading, given that you like the trend to the upside more than they do the downside? How does that make you change your trading plan, given that you can see 500 pip moves in minutes?
I'm downscaling my risk completely at the moment. You don't want to be trading with 20 pip stop losses when this thing is moving 500 pips on like today. I think the first thing is letting things settle. So I'm not trading on these days when it's moved 500. I don't think trying to chase these on these days, I mean, you can get wicked out on a 1 minute bar and take your stop loss, you know. So I think firstly is I downscale the risk, because you don't want something to happen where you're getting, you know, slipped on your trade 100 pips, you know. So let's say you had a 30 pip stop loss, you're getting slipped 3 times the amount. Now you're losing 3% instead of 1%. I don't think that is ideal. So size down the risk, and also just wait and let things happen. I'd rather stick to GCAD and GU than try and trade the yen pairs at the moment. Personally, I love the yen pairs. I just think that obviously every single pair is going to have their time where they're going to have these sort of volatility. You saw it during COVID. You saw it during, I'm sure, the 2008 crash. So that also brings opportunity. So once it settles down and there's not these mini flash crashes on a day, and things settle down, guess what? We're going to start setting up new trends on the yen pair. So I think chill for now and then come back in once this is done, because guess what? Volatility creates opportunities if you're smart with it. So wait for it to ease a little bit and then start to trade once it sets in. That's what's your take on it?
Yeah, I think for me, it's just very much a case of approach with caution, especially around some of them key levels that we've clearly seen defended. It was previously 150. It now looks like it's 160 on UJ. So yeah, I'd just be very, very cautious in and around them levels. To be honest, because like you say, it can be an account wrecker, and we want to be putting risk first at all times.
Sure.
So yeah, I would move to more stable markets, I think.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, cool. So then I took a bit of a look here on gold quite quickly. and then I had some late indice winners. This is on the 1 minute chart. So I'm going to look at the indices on the 5 minute and the 1 minute as well, Tommy. I have put that in my trading plan for entries, right? I do think I see the entries are quite nicely off the VWAP on the 1 minute chart. But that again, because I'm not watching it every single day. Say again?
Austin would be proud.
Yeah, you would. And then I had this winner on the DAX. I covered some there. So this was on the 5 minute entry of the 21 EMA. But yeah, very, very nice trades here to end the week, even on the Friday, right? As you can see, Friday afternoon my time. So I'm putting in the work. But I think I've also, Tom, I think I've got now almost 6 years of experience now in the markets. I know where my spots are, and I'm starting to pick them all. I think this year I've been in a good position mentally, and now just looking to scale up using, obviously personal capital and prop firm capital as well. I think that's my big goal for quarter two. So that was my week. Let's speak about sure.
How's the first month then of quarter two gone for that goal that you're trying to achieve? Has it been a success? What have you learned from it?
Yeah, so it's been a good success actually. I've scaled up. I've got quite a few challenges running at the moment, and just looking to pile on the funding. So I've got a substantial amount in challenges at the minute. But just looking to scale up, and I have a budget set each month to be able to buy these challenges, and then I'm looking to go through them a little bit quicker, right? Some accounts more higher risk than others, but yeah, it's been a success. I'm up 6% on three of the accounts, and I only got them 2.5 weeks ago when I started to implement them, and then so starting to come along nicely, Tommy. Yeah,
nice. I definitely think that's something that I can do better at, and it's something I'm going to be working harder on myself in May, definitely.
Sure.
But yeah, it's been good to see you adapt to it and learn from how you've implemented, because I think it's definitely something that we can push each other to be better at and hold each other more accountable to, I would say.
I agree, but particularly because we have the skill. We should be milking these prop firms and using them better, I believe. Okay, so let's speak about your week. Tommy, how's your week been?
Yeah, so my week was good. Like I said, I feel like I had a really good week. I just had the one losing day, which was Friday actually. But other than that, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday were really good. I feel like I'm in the best place I've ever been in, right? I know exactly where I want to be, what I'm trading each and every day. So yeah, I think I've got really good clarity now over just from the last, probably I would say 7 months of just relentless work in the background of trying to understand what environment the markets are, how they move, strategies can I apply, and then sort of the development to that, and also like the C-gain work that we did, just really understanding what my strengths and weaknesses are as a person and then as a trader. So I think I've gotten very clear on that now, and I think it's just a case of now that, like, when I never forget you and Austin saying it when we came into the Blackshirt Club, settling in. I'm back in that phase now where it's just rinse and repeat on a daily basis.
Okay, nice. And what do you think some of your weaknesses are at the moment?
So at the moment, I think potentially trying to do a little bit too much instead of just focusing on the trading now. Not sure about potentially adding back in this discretionary stuff, if I'm honest. It's not who or where I want to be as a trader personally. So part of me thinks, like, after today, like on the BSC call, is just stick with your systematic stuff, right? And just hone in on that. If that's where and who I want to be in the future, why not just try and master that? I think my biggest weakness is, which is where I want to work on, is not gamifying these challenges enough. I'm very conservative, and I'm very slow. I just grind my accounts up slowly. That's my biggest weakness, I think.
Yeah.
Is I've
Okay.
got the skill to make money. I'm very good at losing. I'm very good at following a plan. But am I factoring in the opportunity cost of just grinding this out for 1-2% a month?
Sure. Okay. So your plan is to get funded with big capital and then look to and make 1-2% a month, right? So
Yeah.
bigger capital over bigger gains, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
But I'm going like very slowly on them.
Yeah.
I've got, I don't know, 11 accounts. I'm up in 10 of them, but I'm just chipping away slowly.
Okay. Cool. What?
Whereas would I be better off using higher risk and potentially failing more or not?
Sure. Okay, cool. What? Okay, so speak us through this breakout strategy that you were working on last week, and you finally implementing. Speak to the guys about that, Tommy.
Okay, so for those that don't know, I trade an FX. I traded, predominantly traded on the FX markets, and they just move up and down. So that like it was mean reversion trading. But when I look around and I look at all of the best traders and historically the best traders, what are they trading? How are they trading? And they're all trading some sort of like trend following, breakouts, US indices, futures, etc. So the goal was to always implement a plethora of strategies, like a portfolio of strategies, 3 or 4 different strategies that all combining to create some sort of like diversified portfolio. That's the goal. So this is just the next step for me, which is a very systematic 5-minute breakout entry on NQ. So because I want it to complement the mean reversion strategy that I trade at the minute, which is on the hourly time frame on gold and UK 100, whereas this is now a US indice that they sort of mean revert quite a bit, whereas this trends a lot more and it's on a lower time frame. So it gives me the opportunity to take some more scalpier kind of trades.
Okay.
So it took, I don't know, probably 6 weeks, 2 months, 3 months, about 2 months to bring to life. And now we've deployed it as of last week.
Brilliant. So we're on the right page. So Tom's trading a mean reversion as well as a breakout. I love it, Tommy. I think what something has been good to see in the last 6 months with you, Tom, is because for those that don't know, Tom came into the Black-Scholes Club in 2021, end of 2021, and that's when he started working with us. And Tom got funded trading a discretion type of trading, and now he's leaning to what he does well, is the statistic part of things and building different systems. And I think that's, again, every trader, I think that Tom Dante spoke about this, right, Tommy, where he says that the right way for one person is not the right way for another person. You have to find what suits you and then hone in on that. And this is something that suits you and you honing in on that, right?
Yeah, massively, right? And it's not for everybody. Some people don't think it's for them, and they're right, it's not. They like to be that creative, freedom, free-flowing kind of person. I don't. I like rigidity, I like structure, I like routine, and this just speaks to me far more of who I am as a person and my personality. And I think it's taken me years to realize it, but this is what they mean by finding a strategy or type of trading that suits you and your personality, right? And this is why I think it takes a long time to find, or you hear people saying it took me 10 years to be consistently profitable, it took me 8 years, 12 years, etc. Because there's just so much to find out about yourself and who you truly are. And then trying to find a strategy or a market or an asset that then aligns with that. But yeah, like discretionary trading is not for everyone. Systematic trading is not for everyone. There's no right or wrong. Neither is better than worse than the other. But there is definitely a right or wrong or a better suited style to you.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Okay, cool. So a solid week, as you can see, Tom ended up 1.95%. I was up 2.1. So I think, what are you doing next week to continue on this momentum, Tommy?
So for me, it's definitely now just about settling into execution. I know where and what I want to be, and monthly review is coming up. So I will be doing a thorough monthly review after tomorrow. But my focus now has to be on turning it into cold hard cash and sizing up and being a little bit more aggressive on some of these challenge accounts, and just continue to just settle in. I know where I want to be now. I've got 2 systems, or like 3 systems really, that I can trade. So now it's just about trading. That's it.
Brilliant. I love it, Tommy. I think that's settling and turning into that cold hard cash from passing this the challenges, and then starting to bigger capital, more money you can make. So don't go for big gains, go for big capital, and then you don't have to make these 5-10% months. You can make 1-2% a month with $1 million, $2 million in funding capital, right? So that's something that we've always spoken about. Is there any questions in the chat? I think this has been great, Tom. We definitely need to do this more often.
Yeah, JB, I could sit and talk to you all day like we do on stream and in the BSC and the accountability chats. And yeah, I agree, mate. I enjoy it. I enjoy working with you. I enjoy seeing you trade, learning from you. I'm down for it. Let's keep doing as we are until we get to them 7-figure years, right?
Yeah, and likewise, Tommy. I always learn from you, and always on the desk and off the desk as well. Always I appreciate your knowledge that you bring. So I think that something that I've learned from you as well is using people, because you can't be the best at everything. So always using people that are around you and that you can trust to build relationships long term. You can always go further together than you can alone, right? So that's something that I've if you've got people around you that actually know more than you, drop your ego and actually just ask them questions, because you don't know everything. You can't know everything. My dad always used to tell me when I was growing up, Tom, he used to say, James, you should just start off as a CEO once you leave school, because fathers know nothing according to the teenage sons. And then as soon as you get older, you should like go towards being a T-boy or something like that, because you don't your teenage son thinks you know nothing. But looking back, I wish I would have asked him more questions earlier, because they got a lot more knowledge than you actually think.
Yeah, it's so true.
Yeah. But yeah, appreciate you, Tom, and your time as always, and appreciate you guys watching. So this will be uploaded. Make sure if you got any questions, if you got anything that Tom and I would maybe like to cover on next week, let me know. Next week it will be on ASFX TV. So this week's on YouTube once a month, in the first Monday of every month. It is on ASFX TV. The link is in the chat. You can go watch me there. It is in my link in bio too. So make sure to go watch me there. Tom is there, Evan's there, Austin's there. We stream every single day throughout the day. London session into New York session as well. So appreciate you guys all being on. We'll see you there.